Yo, 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 what is going on, my beautiful brothers and sisters, fellow radiators of love? My name is Jamal Pope, aka J Phoenix, and this is going to be your astrology forecast for Wednesday, August 30th of 2023. Thank you all for joining me in this video. Hope that you guys are having a wonderful week so far, and just hoping and trusting that the people down in the Florida weather this storm. It turned into a category 4 as it hit like the Cedar Key, like the Bend of Florida area. So hopefully people were able to evacuate and fortify their homes and stuff. It became a lot stronger than we all anticipated, which I'm honestly not surprised about because that's kind of how things have been lately. But hopefully there's not too much damage and we can recover from this. So yeah, just wishing that they all do well down there. But anyways, guys, we have a full moon in Pisces today. A full moon in Pisces at 7 degrees. So it's going to be a very spiritual full moon, too. Let's hop into it and see what's going on here. All right. So at the current moment, as the time of me filming this, we do have this moon finishing up in Aquarius at 29 degrees. Of course, it moves to 0 degrees pretty much within the hour. So by the time it hits 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, that moon will have freshly ingressed into Pisces and will start to conjunct Saturn, which is at 3 degrees of Pisces. So not only are we getting a full moon, but we're getting a full moon with Saturn, which is kind of crazy, right? Because the moon rules Cancer, Saturn rules Capricorn. So these two energies don't necessarily like each other. You know what I'm saying? It's like Saturn is like, it's like the adult, kind of like the wise old person. And then the moon is like a crying baby. And it's like trying to figure out, it's like, like, does Saturn have like the time, the energy, the stamina to deal with the crying baby? You know what I'm saying with the moon energy. So that's interesting thing about this. Now, I think it's interesting how pretty much as soon as the moon comes in, it does make that opposition to Black Moon Lilith, which, like I said, it's just a calculation, so it's not actually a physical thing. And it would have actually King Kunk's Mars at the same time, but Mars moved to 2 degrees. So it's going to kind of hit Black Moon Lilith and Mars pretty much at the same time, just very slightly off. Once again, like I said, this opposition, now that the moon is freshly into Pisces, it's clicked into the 1 degree, so it's fully in there now. It's going to definitely bring up this thing where, well, especially considering the fact that the full moon is building up and Saturn is there, yeah, there could definitely be some fears on how the dream will even work out. How, like, just how spirit will work out in our favor. Maybe having the inability to see, to have the vision to see how this is going to work out, how spirit's going to work in our favor, and being afraid of that. And maybe even, like I said, with Black Moon Lilith here now, I mean, it's retrograde, mind you, in Virgo, and the decan ruled by Mercury, and Mercury is here as well, which is retrograde, and it's with the sun. There's definitely this whole thing where it's like, you know what, trying to rely on our preconceived human intellect right now and try to make sense of the world, and especially make sense of the world of spirit, trying to come at this from like a purely scientific point of view is not going to bode very well. Let's take a look at the zodiac just in general and look at, what are the human zodiac signs, right? You have Gemini, which is the twins. Okay. You have Virgo, which is the maiden. You have Libra, right, which is represented by the scales, which is usually represented by someone holding a scale, right? And then you have Aquarius, which is the water bearer. Everything else is represented by like an animal. You have the ram, you have the bull, you have the crab, you have the lion, right? You have the scorpion or the lobster. Traditionally it's like more of like a lobster, you know, but Scorpio is also ruled by like the dove and the eagle. Yeah, Sag, which is a centaur. You have Capricorn, which is a goat, and if you really want to get down to it, it's a sea goat. So this is where it starts to get like kind of mystical. And Pisces is the fish, the two fish, right? So when it comes down to like the human understanding of things, we got to look at it. There's nothing in Gemini besides Vesta, minor asteroid Vesta, right? Virgo is all kinds of flunked up because you have a black moon Lilith in retrograde. You have a Mercury in retrograde trying to figure things out. You do have the sun here, which definitely provides some positivity and kind of jumpstarts it. That's the strongest of the energies. And you have Pallas Athena here trying to come up with a good strategy, right? Leading the way in Virgo. Then in Libra, you have a Mars in its detriment with the South Node. In Aquarius, you got nothing. So trying to force our human understanding, our human intellect, and going completely science based for this full moon or just in general right now is not going to bode very well. This is when you have to integrate spirit. You have to trust spirit and walk in faith. You have to, everything in your life has to have some sort of spiritual nature to it. Because trying to force our understanding on things, like I said, this hurricane that is coming through Florida right now, they projected it to be like a category like 2. It has a category 4. I'm not surprised that it got stronger. And I honestly wouldn't be surprised if this one is mild compared to another hurricane that comes later in the season. I don't want to just predict, you know, natural, catastrophic events happening and stuff like that, because I don't wish that on anybody. I'm just saying I wouldn't be surprised if this is just a taste of what's to come this season. But yeah, it went from it was predicted to be like a category 2, maybe even a category 1, and it got all the way to category 4 in the span of 24 hours. That's how fast it got to that. So how many times do we try to, imprint our human understanding of things and just go purely human based and purely science based and not even consider spirit? And we flail, we fail, we don't quite hit the mark because we're not considering God, we're not considering spirit. And like I said, with a time where we have nothing in Aquarius, barely anything in Gemini, just Vesta, a Virgo that has a black moon Lilith retrograde and a Mercury retrograde where we're trying to go back to the drawing board. Yeah, the sun is here, and a Mars in detriment in Libra, which is now definitely trying to take some action, but is definitely considering all the possibilities and trying to weigh things out, which makes Mars a little bit more hesitant, right, to taking action, whereas Mars wants to be more impulsive. Now Mars has to actually weigh the options out before acting and be a little bit hesitant. You don't want to get too hesitant, but the South Node is here. So this can bring up some indecision and some inaction. Thus, we have a full moon in Pisces conjunct Saturn, the planet of decision making, the planet of structure, right? And it's going to, like I said, be happening at 7 degrees. 7 in numerology is Neptune. It's Pisces. I need to actually show you guys where I'm getting this shit. Right? Because when I say these things, I want y'all to know pretty much what I'm getting this from. So I have this really great resource here. It's like the secret language of birthdays, right? So, which I think, like I said, this is pretty fantastic. But I want to show you what I mean when I'm saying certain numbers are ruled by certain planets. So, let's see. Let me just get to, okay. All right. So, like how I said, 7 is Neptune. So, I'm just going to a random date, by the way. So, all right. So you see the 7 right there, and there's the symbol for Neptune, right? Now, a reason why it says Mars is because I have this on April 17th, so that's Aries season, right? Now, if I were to go to the number 8, it's Saturn, right? If I were to go to 9, it's going to be Mars. Oh wait, let me. Hold on. Where is it? There you go. It's going to be Mars, right? So let's just go to today. Why not? Let's just have some fun with it, and let's just go to today and see what's going on. But that's where I'm getting the whole number thing as it relates to certain planets too. So another awesome astrologer that talked about this is Christopher Witecki over at Serious Joy. I would definitely recommend checking him out because he takes this like to like a whole nother level. So he takes this to a whole nother level. So let's just go to August 30th on here and let's just see. I'm going to read a couple things for you guys because I want to just use my resources that I have. A couple different resources that we're going to use to talk about this full moon, right? All right. August 30th, the day of the rock. Interesting. The day of the rock. So let's see. Now, this one takes into consideration just the date itself. So it has Jupiter here, which I think is interesting. The extremely capable people born on August 30th are rock solid where their strengths are concerned. Particularly good with money, they usually enjoy dealing with finance and take great pride in successful management of company, personal, or family funds. Whatever their field of interest, most born on this day seek tangible results in their work and prefer not to venture into speculative or unrealistic areas. Generally, the home of August 30th people is well ordered, comfortable, and carefully arranged to meet material needs and wants. That's where it just kind of starts off with. I'm not going to go over all of this, of course. Um, let's see. Trying to just look at some people that were born on this day. Mary Shelley, it's a big one. Let's see who else. Let's see. Let's see. Try just looking over all this stuff like that. Yeah. So Mary Godwin Shelley, British horror novelist. That's the main one, of course. Frankenstein. That's the main one that comes up on here, right? Ted Williams, Boston Red Sox baseball outfielder. Yeah. So now when it comes to it's interesting. So the strengths are financially astute, organized, and reliable. The weaknesses are authoritarian and inflexible. Right? I think that's pretty interesting, right? So um, let's take a look at the advice. Beware of fostering dependency in others. Teach your children to be self sufficient. Be flexible when it comes to rules. Don't feel you have to control every aspect of your environment. Cultivate your spiritual side and look beyond what the world has to offer. I can't make this up. Like I was literally just talking about this, and then I pull and then I go to August 30th in here, and that's exactly what it says. I'm gonna read that again for you guys. Beware of fostering dependency in others. Teach your children to be self-sufficient. Be flexible when it comes to rules. Don't feel you have to control every aspect of your environment. Cultivate your spiritual side and look beyond what this world has to offer. Cultivate your spiritual side and look beyond what this world has to offer. The meditation for the day is the only rule is the exception. I may read from this for like every single day just to, you know, kind of give an idea of the day itself. But yeah, so this is a day where we could definitely find our strength and our resolve, and to sort of be like that rock solid in our life and to, yeah, be self sufficient and not have to necessarily rely on others. But at the same time, don't get so caught up in the science of everything and trying to rationalize everything that we completely neglect the spiritual side because we're not going to figure it all out, right? This full moon in Pisces, it's going to happen at 7 degrees, going to apex around 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right? And we have a good bit of 7 energy in the chart. Remember I said 7 is Neptune energy, it's Pisces energy, so it takes on a much more spiritual nature. 7, of course, with the moon and the sun, we have the nodes also at 7. 2 plus 5 is 7. 2 plus 5 is 7. We have Eris. 2 plus 5 is 7, right? We have Vesta, minor asteroid Vesta. 2 plus 5 is 7. We have Juno at 7 as well. There is certainly a lot of energy here at this degree, and some of it is going to be rather subtle, right? North node, south node energy, it's a little more subtle. Eris is an exoplanet that takes more than 400 years to go around the sun. Subtle. Vesta, minor asteroid, talking about that inner flame, that ever burning inner flame that is subtle. It's not a boastful fire, it's a very calm and serene, peaceful fire, right? Subtle. Juno, the planet of commitments, and Leo, going forward, getting ready to conjunct Venus. Probably one of the minor asteroids that's not the most subtle, but subtle nonetheless, because most people don't really think about it or consider it. These energies are going to be more subtle, and a full moon in Pisces at this degree is going to take the subtle and blow it in your face. It's going to blow it in your face to where you can't ignore it. I'm going to show you another thing too, another resource that pretty much ties in what I just said, right? So I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing that. Then I'm going to go to the share screen for the Sabian symbols. These are the Sabian symbols, right? Essentially, it takes every single degree of the zodiac and it gives it a description. So I know it says 8 here, but if I were to go to Pisces and then 7, this is what it's going to do. Yeah, so it's going to be Pisces 8. So let's just read this, shall we? All right. A girl blowing a bugle. I don't know if you've ever had like bugles, like the chips, but that's pretty much what it is. It's like that giant horn, essentially, right? This shows sounding the call, rallying the people together, knowing when to speak or blow a bugle, to awaken others, to wake up to the realities going on in the world, join some cause, etc. Perhaps you feel the need to wake up those around you, or perhaps be woken up yourself. When situations get bogged down in emotional or rational complexity, and everyone just needs to be rallying and going for the objective, you may be the one to let everyone know. Sometimes this symbol can show someone who makes a lot of noise, justified or unjustified, and they can get people moving. Using simple, receptive innocence will get situations back on track. Using simple, receptive innocence will get situations back on track. All right. Sounding the call, awakening all to action, loudspeakers, telephones, announcements, rise and shine, leading the charge, resurrection, proclamations, whistleblowers, unwarranted and disturbing noise, showing off, trumpeting about oneself, not listening to people, being annoying, interrupting, betraying confidences, loud noises. So if you will say like this would be like the positive aspect of it, if you will. Sounding the call, awakening all to action, loudspeakers, telephones, announcements, rise and shine, leading the charge, resurrection, proclamations, whistleblowers. And you have the not so great side of it, unwarranted and disturbing noise, showing off, trumpeting about oneself, not listening to people, being annoying, interrupting, betraying confidences, loud voices. Right? Remember what I said yesterday about people gaslighting and how that could be potentially a thing? And how there may be some sort of announcements that start to gaslight people? Yeah, but they're going to be loud voices on both sides. When you have a full moon here at such a spiritual degree, this is definitely meant to wake people up, especially with a Mercury that's in retrograde. That's also going to be in opposition to this moon, which will be tomorrow, mind you. And you got to remember that this is coming off of the full moon, so it's still going to be very much so illuminated, right? And heading towards a Neptune in Pisces too, which is at 2 + 6, which is 8, which is Saturn, right? So there's definitely going to be, I feel, an attempt to rally people this full moon. And of course, with full moon, it pulls on your energies, it pulls on your emotions. People are going to be more emotional. And not only that, but whenever you have a full moon in Pisces, the veil between this realm and the spiritual realm is a lot thinner. Be careful today on this hump day, right? I wouldn't really recommend going out to the club and doing like and it's a Wednesday, so People don't usually go to the club on Wednesday, but it may happen. But I wouldn't really recommend if you normally go to the bar after work. I wouldn't personally recommend going to the bar after work today and having some drinks because you could take things too far. And like I said, because this the realm between this realm and the spirit realm is a lot thinner, you just want to really be careful about what you do today, especially when it comes to things like alcohol. I'm just being real with y'all. You want to be a little bit more careful because entities can hop in on those vibrations and attach themselves to you. And if you are so caught up in the rational complexity of things and so caught up in the emotional complexity of things and not get to a simple state, a state where it's just, more resonant in your innocence, if you will, more resonant in like the simpleness and the simpleness of your heart, the simpleness of your love, the simpleness of love itself, right? And getting to that vibration, if you get way caught up on the dominant narrative or what people are sounding off, like I'm telling you, this is probably a good night to avoid like news and too much media. Not gonna lie, at least mainstream news, because certain events may take up where they're going to use these events to pull on your heartstrings to get you and to rally you into a certain direction. But is that direction really what's going to uplift humanity? I would just be very selective on what kind of media you take in today. Because with this full moon in Pisces, you know, on Saturn, mind you, now Saturn is retrograde too, but this is definitely going to be an opportunity for people to try and control your thoughts and control your feelings. And they're going to use something to probably try tugging your heartstrings a little bit to kind of get you to think about something from the past. They may use nostalgia too, right? Oh, remember how great things were 10, 20 years ago. Oh, remember how great things were in the 50s or the 60s, whatever, or whatever. People are going to be going way back there and stuff. Remember how great things used to be. Don't you want to have that again? We are moving into a new world, into a new age. We already are in the new age. We are birthing a new reality. I think we can take the things that worked in the past, but at the same time, I don't know how much of it's going to work. I don't know how much of the stuff in the past is going to work in the new age, in the new reality. So this is why we have to, take these things with a grain of salt, a really big grain of salt, because we're about to get flooded with a bunch of emotions, a bunch of energies, a bunch of spiritual energies too. So those of you who are clairaudient, clairsentient, you know, clairvoyant, because you got to remember also that Jupiter is dispositing this moon traditionally, right? It's not just Neptune, which is in that sign, but Jupiter as well. Jupiter, which has pretty much stopped in Taurus at 15 degrees, in the decan ruled by Mercury, the planet of communication. So this is a very interesting full moon, to say the least. It has a lot of different sides to it. Because while this full moon can allow for a lot of great creativity too, because Pisces is a very creative energy, it can allow for a lot of great creativity. Probably a good time to get into something creative or to listen to some good music as well. Like I said, good music that uplifts your vibration, right? Music that doesn't try and put you into this state of, unless it's more of like a cathartic thing, maybe if you listen to like more depressing music. But I think this will be a good full moon to really listen to some positive, uplifting music and to have like a dance party or something like that. I'm probably gonna have a dance party tonight at home, like just by myself. Because it sounds fun. That's probably what I'm gonna end up doing. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you want to be intentional about this, right? But there's definitely going to be an element where people may try and sway you. People may gonna try and pull you over to their side of the table, pull you over to their tribe, And they're going to try and be as convincing as possible. They're going to use emotion to try and pull you over there, and of course a little bit of logic as well. And they're going to be like, hey, things are so great at this point. It doesn't matter what side of the political aisle you are. It doesn't matter what religion that you follow, whatever. It doesn't matter where you are in your life at the moment. There's definitely going to be an element where people are going to try and pull you to your side, and you have to make that discerning. You have to make that discerning, decision on whether or not to go in that direction and go with that flow, and ask yourself, is this something that really resonates deep within my spirit, deep within my soul and my heart? Is this something that I really want to do? This is a cause I really want to get behind. This is a cause that's going to help propel humanity into a new world, or have us stuck in the matrix, stuck in a place that we've already been, that we've already done that, we've already played those games, and it's time to move forward. All right. I love you, Burbies. Have a great day. I will. You're going to do great today. Yeah. Now, I actually have my moon in Pisces. I have my moon in Pisces at 28 degrees. And so I have Neptune on my moon, uh, in my fourth house, mind you. It's been interesting, to say the least. It's hard to really put words to it. And honestly, that's the thing with any type of Pisces energy, it's hard to kind of put words to it. And this is opposite Virgo, right? So it's like words almost don't really do it justice. Like we can talk about this full moon all day and talk about all these different implications of it, but really, words don't really do it justice. You know what I mean? Even feelings don't necessarily do it justice. It takes on a deeper spiritual quality. So this is a day definitely to be, open and receptive to the messages that are coming in, but also be discerning on what messages you allow to really penetrate and get to that deeper part of you, and then you integrate into your life and implement, and then you kind of live your life by those doctrines, if you will, or those beliefs. You got to remember, this is also Pisces, so this does deal with beliefs. Some people are going to actually be releasing a lot of beliefs today, self-limiting beliefs, especially with the moon coming over Saturn, or being with Saturn with this full moon. So there's definitely going to be an element where it's like, this can be a great opportunity to help you to release some self-limiting beliefs, especially since Black Moon Lilith is in Virgo, also a part of this full moon, right? So releasing self-limiting beliefs, releasing any fears, that you can actually, organize your life in a way to match your vibration, and then have that vibration attract into your life the things that you want to experience, the relationships, the job, the home life, the family life, the relationships, regardless of, like, romantic or family or friends and stuff like that. Yeah, it's gonna be a fun one. I think it's gonna be a fun one. Yeah, I think I think it's gonna be an interesting one. I may make other little things just throughout the day as it just kind of comes through and stuff. But just with this full moon, like I said, just be prepared. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're gonna see people probably try to gaslight you. People try and be so loud and so boisterous and talk over you. Try and get you to come over to their side and try to sway you in their direction and stuff. But then you are going to have people that are also going to be like, wake up, follow your spiritual path, go within, you know, follow your heart, raise your vibration, raise the consciousness, help others, like things like that, really help others. And the best way to help other people is to help yourself. The best way to impact someone else positively is by raising your own vibration, becoming that beacon of light, so you may illuminate everyone else around you simply by being you, right? So you're going to see both. this is definitely, in many ways, this is definitely kind of like a call to arms, a call to, are you going to answer the call from spirits? It's like, hey, are you really going to walk this path? Are you going to do this thing? Or are you just going to go right back into the matrix? I know it's difficult. I know it's gross. I know waking up from this dream is not necessarily going to be easy. It's going to be uncomfortable. You want to get back into the covers because it's warm and it feels good. Maybe you're snuggled up with your special person or your pet or something like that, and you want to just stay in bed longer, but you got work to do. We can still have fun while doing it. We can still have fun navigating this new terrain, navigating this new map, if you will. There is so much potential in every single one of us. We feel like we have I feel like there's this underlying current, this underlying like kind of belief that humanity has kind of peaked. We are nowhere near close to expressing our full potential. Nowhere near close. We've come to a peak, but it's not the peak. We've come to a peak, but it's not the peak. So remember that today. Let's get into the cards. Y'all didn't tell me that I didn't do the oracle card yesterday. I drew it afterwards, and it was overcoming obstacles, which kind of made a lot of sense, right? Let's see what we got for this full moon in Pisces. All right. You remember how I was talking about innocence earlier, and I literally draw the card of innocence? I literally draw the card of innocence. And I want to say that in this deck, this is the Sun card too. Interesting how the Sun card is the card of innocence. You have this elderly man playing with the praying mantis with the beautiful cherry blossoms behind him. And they're just enjoying each other's company. Are you going to be so quick to like kill the mantis? And look, it's like they're singing to each other pretty much. This is a day to tap into that energy, to tap into that innocence, to remember that you are the sun, you are the beacon of light. You don't necessarily have to rely on others. We do need each other to a certain degree, obviously, right? We can't just do everything by ourselves, but the way that we law of attract the people into our life, our tribe, is by focusing on our vibe. And when you tap into yourself, when you really work on your spiritual journey, you humble yourself, you become innocent again, and not take all of your preconceived notions and all the knowledge and all the complex rationalities that you built up as a human, growing from a child to a teenager to an adult, and taking all of that data, and you present this data to the universe like, but here's all the data that I have, and this is why I can't be spiritual. This is why I can't follow this path. And God's gonna be like, don't you know that I planned a lot more for you? Don't you know that all of that data was just, all of those experiences was just to get you to this point right here? I knew you was going to present all that data to me. I knew you was going to be like, you was just going to like give me all this sort of stuff here and be like, what do I do with this? I knew you was going to do that. I made you, right? But this is about us becoming that co-creator, right? There's nothing that we could present to spirit, nothing that we could present to God that God doesn't already know. But God wants us, encourages us to become greater versions of ourselves. So we can take all of the data in the world and say, this is why I can't become stronger, why I can't become a better version of myself. This is why I can't. I have these obstacles in the way. I have this person that hates me. I have this job that sucks, but I have to do it because I got to pay the bills. I have this thing going against me, that thing going against me, that thing going against me. Come back to your innocence. I'm not even going to draw another card because this does it justice. This is enough. I'll draw an oracle card, but this does it enough as far as the tarot goes. Channeling today, y'all. We channeling today. But honestly, whenever the moon goes in Pisces, that's when I feel more at home anyways. So if you're going to drink today, maybe just drink by yourself at home. Maybe have like a glass of wine or two, but not too crazy. You don't want to get yourself caught up in the weird situations. Like I said, and especially if you are more spiritually in tuned anyways, even more careful. I mean, if you're watching this, you probably are more spiritually in tune. So I'm just saying, be careful. But the drums are a little bit thinner right now. So if you start seeing like fairies and werewolves and vampires and other kind of mystical creatures today, don't be surprised. Or they start talking to you, don't be surprised. I'm just saying. What we got: solitude and silence, peace prevails. Yeah, this is definitely time we kind of got to Virgo it up, kind of hermit it up, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, and silence, peace prevails. So take some time today to be silent because people are going to be sounding the alarms on both sides. People that try to drag you down, drag your energy down, and people that try and bring you up, just myself. But still, despite all that, despite both sides of it, take time today to go into silence and to find that inner peace and to drown out all the noise, be it negative or positive, be it, uplifting or detrimental. Take time today to kind of go within and find your inner peace and find your voice and get the message from spirit that is meant and tailored for you, right? So utilize the messages that come through from other people today and, analyze them. Don't overanalyze them, of course, but also take time to find the messages that come in from spirit to you through your heart today. Yeah. That is going to do it for your full moon and Pisces astrology forecast today. I hope that you all enjoyed it. I hope that it assists you on your journey. And if you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe. I definitely appreciate it. If you would like to have a personal reading with me, beloved, you can follow the link in the description below to my website, jphoenix.com. And as always, y'all take care and stay blessed. Have a wonderful full moon in Pisces. I will see you all on the next video. Peace.